About you guys in the choir, the players choir, and I wanted to thank each and everybody for tuning in today to the show. Let's go ahead and get right into it, guys. Were any one of you like where did the singing start from? Did any one of you used to do this as a kid?
I did on the karaoke machine. We're started for me.
Right. And man, the crazy thing, I've been singing, I feel like all my life, in church. My mom and dad, they were on the choir and they started this young adult choir and youth choir. So I've been singing pretty much all my life, man.
Oh, absolutely. And it's always fascinating, to see what everybody else pick up, especially as far as athletes. Now I know like doing rookie mini camps, was there ever a request from your teammates to sing in front of the team?
For me in college, there were, but it was like we had me and another big guy had to sing "I'm a Little Teapot," so that wasn't really singing.
That's what, man,
When I got
I
to the
remember.
league, I kind of missed. I was holding out, so I kind of missed that hazing part when I got to NFL. So I skipped that part.
And yeah, my first year with the Falcons, they made me sing "Happy Birthday" at Ward Dunn's birthday party. So you
Oh
know,
man.
yeah,
Yeah, I would say, most NFL players, NBA players, any type of athletes, after their playing career, they kind of go into the analyst role, or then you're seeing everybody get into the podcast scene, or even coaching. What was it about the choir that made you guys want to go to that route?
Well, the choir had been around officially as a choir since 2008. The NFL Gospel event had been going on since I want to say like '99 or so, and then the choir developed through Melanie Few. So that was something that gave guys a chance who were on other teams to kind of, have a weekend to get to know each other by rehearsals for the choir, and then it kind of grew his legs of his own when it came down to like AGT wanting, the choir to be a part of that. And then that developed into something different, kind of separate from the gospel event.
What about you, Cam? What made you want to steer to this route?
man. The crazy thing is, when I first found out that there was an NFL players choir, we have a member by the name of Bryan Scott. He said, "Man, you should come on and join in with us, man. You'll fit right in." I said, "What, really?" Because we used to, do some stuff together when we played together. I go to his house and we'll record at his studio, and it just felt like the perfect fit. And one thing I can say about the choir is another locker room. I
Mm.
mean, guys are able to lean on each other, to ask questions, to see how you doing and check up on you, man. And because we deal with a lot of stuff outside of our jobs and stuff, but to have your brother who been through some of the same walks as you, and to have this as another locker room, it's a blessing for us, man, for us all.
I can only imagine. And, I know you both like doing this because that is the reason why you're here. But what are the different feelings from just singing in front of a crowd compared to going in front of a stadium where if you're in Philly they're throwing batteries at
Oh, that's funny.
I'm from South Jersey, so I'm familiar with the Eagles fans.
you?
But there's a jail under there too.
I didn't
Um,
know that.
yeah. So for me, I feel like the difference is us being football players at times, especially being on the road, we kind of tend to ignore the crowd. But
Hmm.
performing is totally different because you're performing directly looking at them. And you kind of can feed off of their energy a little bit more because it's a direct, interaction where when you're playing, they're like around you and your main focus is the guy next to you or the quarterback and your other 11, 12, 10 people on the field with you. So it's a little different from everybody watching you, but now we're looking back into them. It's a different feeling. I feel like it's more of an adrenaline rush too, because I on stage performing and people are screaming and waving back at you. So it's like you can get caught up in that a little bit.
Man, for me, I'll say what kind of related both. There was like a nice comparison. I remember when we would be in the tunnel right before the game. And it kind of compared to standing there with Terry Crews before we go out on the stage. It was like, oh, you could kind of take that peep out to the crowd. You see the crowd's all up. And man, when they call for you to run out there or when you're running out to that field, whoa, man, that feeling is second to none. So that kind of compared the two stages right there.
Oh, wow. And, just a quick little football story for all the football fans tuning in. Kind of to piggyback off Philly, what would you say was the most, I would say, intimidating stadium to play in, whether it's college or the pro level?
Intimidating like how?
As in, not necessarily because you're a relatively big guy. I know you're not really scared, but raucous fans like the Philly fans who throws batteries and moon players coming onto the field.
Like for me, if I'm gonna say like a stadium is based off of the noise, the crowd noise. Mm-hmm. So like Seattle was like always one of like the louder stadiums, and even New Orleans too could be really loud, and Indianapolis. So that was, if anything, for me, that was always like a thing. But like the fans being rowdy, us as players, we didn't have to interact with that too much. That was probably more fan on fan, action. Mm-hmm. When it came to Philly and things like that, and even with the Raiders and like the dog pound, that's more like fan on fan thing. But players don't really have to interact too much with that. Like I remember playing in Minnesota, and we were coming to the stadium, and we we're going at Green Bay, and like people mooned us. So Randy Moss imitated that in that one game. He basically was imitating what we seen coming to the stadium. So and people kind of took offense, but it's like that's what they did to us for real. He mimicked what he seen. So yeah.
Yeah, that touchdown celebration.
Right.
Yeah, he got a lot of flack for that. Green Bay, man. What about you, Cam? Like, what was probably a crazy stadium story for yourself?
Well, I think he hit the nail on the head when he said New Orleans. Man, that crowd right there. I mean, as soon as you get in there, it's like their job is to try to see if you would talk back to them. And they're diehard fans, man. And I don't think you can compare to like the loyalty of the fan, like New Orleans, man. They're loyal fans.
Absolutely. And those who just now tuning in, we have with us Bryan McKinney, Pro Bowl, Super Bowl champion from the Minnesota Vikings, and also Cam Newton. Furman, great, those that are listening here in the upstate. So just I only ask this because you guys, you were on America's Got Talent, but what all goes into the audition before you guys are even chosen?
See, one thing that's I would say unique, but it kind of we have to really work around it. We have guys from all over the place. I mean, from the West Coast to the up north, south, and how do we rehearse? Even when it comes down to getting with our vocal coaches, right? So what we had to do, we had to put on our own retreats where we would go and we'll meet up and we'll rehearse. It's like strong rehearsals for a weekend or so. And we'll get to practice like that. So we did a few retreats, but we really got a chance to do a lot of work right before the show.
Was it pretty similar for you as well, Bryan?
Yeah, for the most part, pretty much the same.
Gotcha. Now, and of course, both of you know what it's like being on the bigger stage, and you kind of touched on it earlier, but what is it like walking onto that America's Got Talent stage?
Well, to be honest, the audition, I wasn't really aware the whole time we were there that we were contestants. I thought we were doing like a guest spot and we were going to sing. And because 2 emails went out and I read the first one, and that's kind of how it read. Until later on, while we were there in the week, then I realized like, wait, we're contestants. So I wasn't really nervous a majority of the time of me being there. And then towards the end when I found out, I was like, oh, now I became like a little competitive and really wanted to like, get chosen to go to the next round.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that was, I don't know, it was kind of intimidating, but he did a good job of talking to us right before the audition. Simon,
Yeah, that was
stand up there and hear him talk to you like he's your best friend. And he's so excited. But I had the opportunity to start the song off on the auditions. I led the song. And I'm like, oh, Cam, you better come in on the right note. As soon as I started, his facial expression went from, I would say, like, I'm happy to like, now diagnosing if you really can sing. So it lets you come with a new focus, but that's what we do. I mean, we feel pressure and it's like, it snaps on and then you turn on and that's when we put out our best product. When it's go time.
That is. And did you guys have any type of interactions with the other judges as well, like before or after?
Well, we saw them in passing, a couple of judges, but the first audition, Howie didn't have the opportunity. Well, I think he was under the weather for that show, and it was only 3 judges. So I remember coming across Sophia, and we took a picture. We're able to take a picture with her, after the show. But you don't get to really just go interact with the judges. At most, we get to interact with Terry Crews. Yeah.
And Terry, is he kind of like what he seems to be like on the screen? Just a laid back, lovable guy?
Yeah, for the most part, I think you get what you see. And he's also a former player as well. So I feel like he kind of could relate to us and he kind of, knew some of our journeys. So it was great to have him there.
That's all. Now, I saw with Justin Timberlake kind of gave you guys a shout out on Twitter. Like, was that moment, does that feel like everything was justified when he gave you guys a shout out for their performance?
I definitely feel like by him giving a shout out, let us know that we gave his song justice. It was also the first time he cleared a record for AGT too. So we wanted to make sure we kind of put our best foot forward, doing this record. And by him tweeting, kind of let us know, like, okay, we did a good job.
Did you get to see that, Cam?
Oh, I saw it, man. And I can remember, who was I sitting by? Probably right beside Melanie. And he said, you seen Justin retweeted us on this show? And I said, what? So, man, that validation to have him say, oh, we did a good job on this song, and knowing that he never cleared that song for anyone else, man, that was everything right there. And Justin, if you're listening, man, look, we would love to do a song with you, man. I feel like we could do a nice collaboration together.
And I actually, I watched it. Y'all did an amazing job. Like, I don't know how everybody else thought. Of course, they'd be like, hey, this is a group of NFL players. Are they really singers? No, y'all did really good. Like, I love their performance.
Thank you, man.
No problem. On a kind of, a more serious note, I'm a huge advocate for mental health, and I know you guys push that as well. I guess what I'm kind of saying is, how can something like this, like being part of a choir, forming another brotherhood, how has that helped you mentally off the field and with the post-playing career?
Well, I think that it helped, bring guys together who probably have had similar journeys with like a lot of stress and being the go-to person for their family and friends. And now we all are able to kind of pour back into each other during these times of rehearsal and everything like that. And it kind of can take a little stress, off of you mentally because you're able to get away. We were away for like 12, 13 days, with rehearsal, but you didn't have any pressure of the outside world, which is us focused on that. So those type of breaks I feel like are needed. And also it allows guys to get together and kind of talk about things and express, you know, who's been through what and how they got through it. So I feel like it's very helpful.
What do you think, Cam?
Man, we use this word a lot. We call it the locker room because it really does feel like an extension of the locker room. You're dealing with guys who may have gone through the feeling of isolation, the problems of transitioning, depression, um, different things, and to have this as an outlet, something that we enjoy doing, but it's really about the bonds that we have with your brothers, and to be able to pull on each other, lean on each other, whether it's advice or just sharing a story, or just doing something uplifting with your brother. This ministry that we have and to be able to minister on each other it's been a great asset in our lives post career, man. And to have this platform and the things that we're able to do within the community and uplift these underserved communities and to pour out into these kids. I mean, I can recall going to the children's hospital and for a parent to say, when they ask the kids if they want to ask a question to us, and to know that they haven't said a word in a while, and to them to have the energy to want to ask us a question, do you know that what that does to your heart? And for us to say we're able to pour into the community like that, man, this players choir, I mean, we've been for a while, but we're just getting started on where we're going with this thing, man.
Yeah, and I cannot wait to continue to follow you guys to see what's coming up. And lastly, that's kind of the question. I know you guys have the Super Bowl performance this year, but what else is coming up sooner than that for the Players Choir?
Because of the show, we've had a lot of people show interest in us. So we've had different teams want us to come do the national anthem, and there's a few other offers out there. So we really have to kind of dig through some of these and see what we all would agree to do at this point. And we still have our hopes open for going back as a wild card for AGT.
Yeah.
Right. And I was gonna shed more light on that wild card. We want to encourage everybody to continue watching AGT. I mean, if you are a fan of us, continue watching, because after the live shows, we're hoping one of the judges selects us as a possibility for the live show. But it's going to take you voting for us. We definitely have another performance that we want to bring to the table in the finale, and hopefully we can become our winners of it. But yeah, so the wild card, look for us.
That is absolutely amazing. Guys, thank you so much for joining me, Bryant McKinney, Cam Newton. Thank you so much for your time. Everybody who's tuning in, make sure you vote for them. I definitely want to see this finale because the first two performances were great. So I know if we can get you guys back on, it's going to be even better.
You better believe it.
Thank you so much. You guys have a good night.
Thank you.
All right. Talk to you soon, man. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure.
Okay.
Hey, Cam.
Yes, sir.